Hey guys, it's Snow. You can't see me, I'm off camera a little bit, but I have a very special set of guests. This is the team from Steel Battalion Heavy Armor. So I know we haven't talked a whole lot about that game, but this is a perfect opportunity to learn a little bit more. If you guys don't know, we actually just released a trailer for Gamescom, and let me see if I can pull that up for you. Let's add that. Hang on while I pull it up. Alright, we'll let you watch the trailer real quick.
The UN forces and those powers that have manipulated them into their occupation of the USA will learn a hard lesson today.
Stay strong for me.
They will learn that America does not belong to them, and it never will. Today, the US forces begin the first stage of American liberation that will propel us to a time reminiscent of the...
Turn that desk jockey off. We've got a job to do.
We need to deal with that APC.
Locked and loaded. AMF. Go back! Go back!
Minefield, Delta 1-3 is down. Bravo, follow my lead.
Contact. Multiple VTs, 11 o'clock. Engaging.
Watch your left! Range! 250! Taking fire! Where you go? Stay strong! Oh, hell. Incoming! Only on Kinect for Xbox 360.
Alright, so that was the trailer for Steel Battalion Heavy Armor. And now we're going to talk a little bit about it. So I'm going to hand the mic over to Mao, who's going to be helping us translate. And why don't you introduce these guys and have them tell us a little bit about what they're doing on the game and a little bit about what we just saw in the trailer.
Okay, じゃあちょっと自己紹介してもらいます。じゃあまずおさんどうぞ。
はい、本作のプロデューサーをしております片岡と言います。よろしくお願いします。
So I'm Kataoka, one of the co-producers for Steel Battalion Heavy Armor.
はい、同じくプロデューサーやってます。北林と言います。よろしくお願いします。
And also co-producer for Steel Battalion Heavy Armor, Kitabayashi. Thank you. まずちょっとトレーラーの中身について今どういうものを見たのかちょっと教えてもらえますか。
はい、情報としては、去年の TGS から、 全然情報出してなかったんですけど、満を期して、この PV、トレーラーを作ってきました。で内容は、そうですね、アメリカ軍が、アメリカ本土に上陸するシーンから始まっていくんですけど、そこで、ノルマンディー上陸作戦のような戦いが始まっていると。でその中で、敵機という、VT という、兵器が出てくるんですけど、それに僕らが乗り組んで、戦っていくっていう話になっています。でその中で、いろいろと、ドラマの展開とかいろいろ、今回、キネクトを使った、専用のゲームなんですけど、キネクトを使いつつ、いろんなことの起こっていく、トレーラーとして見ていただければいいかなと思ってます。
So we've been silent since last year's TGS about Steel Battalion, and no one's heard anything about it. So finally, we're almost re-announcing the title with this new trailer here today. So as you saw, you are, as a player, you are a pilot of a vertical tank, and in the trailer you saw inside the cockpit, and you're about to land to the shores of New York, which is being held by the UN forces. Which has actually been overtaken by an Asian superpower. So in Steel Battalion Heavy Armor, the United States of America only has 8 states remaining, and as the protagonist, Winfield Powers, the pilot, you land to New York trying to retake New York City. And as a cause inside the tank, there's a lot of psychological warfare going on, with people almost wanting to escape or going into panic, as well as all the explosions and bullets going off outside. So it's really an extreme condition, and we wanted to convey the feeling of just total warfare where there's nowhere to run. You have to be in the war whether you are inside or outside a vertical tank.
That sounds pretty crazy. So how did you sort of capture the feeling? You mentioned psychological warfare. I mean, looking at the trailer, you get to see inside that cockpit of the your vehicle, and I think back to like old sort of World War, like they're stuck in this tiny little tank, and it is very much a trapped kind of feeling. So, did you do a lot of research and sort of how to bring out those kind of emotions in players?
すごいペース感がすごいその上にレトロな戦争があるんですけど、やっぱりこれかなりいろんなリサーチをかけた上でああいう方向性に始めたんでしょうか。
そうですね、やっぱりその戦争っていうその戦場においてですね、外の戦場っていうのと中で戦ってるっていう2つのその物語をそこを出すためにすごく、VT の中のコックピットの中の狭さっていうのはすごい意識して作ったところですね。本当に大きさっていうのをそういう試行錯誤して、すごいいい感じの大きさになってると思います。
I mean, we wanted to convey, two sides of the warfare, obviously. So inside and out. So obviously, when you're inside, it's got to be claustrophobic. It's got to be almost retro because this is in a world where semiconductors have all been destroyed. That's the world setting. So you'd see some odd Nixie tubes, vacuum tubes everywhere. But we don't have computers in this game. So inside the cockpit, all the apparatus are kind of retro-looking, or in fact, they've just been advancing in a different way to how it would have been if there are computers. So things look a bit different, but we really wanted to concentrate on the sense of claustrophobia. So inside the cockpit, you're totally packed in. There's nowhere to run, and outside, it's a realistic warfare where you don't really know what's going to happen. So if your window could blow up and go into pieces, and then now you've got space in the window, and then you could get a bullet coming through. There's just like nowhere to rest and relax, and that's what a battlefield is all about.
Sounds really crazy. It sounds cool. So, tell me a little bit about the decision to go with Kinect and how you really progressed in making the game control. Because, I mean, when I think of Steel Battalion, I think of the big controller with all the knobs and switches and the ejector switch that I set on my desk and I play. So, I mean, this is completely opposite. There is no controller. Right? So how did you sort of go about coming up with new ideas?
今回、Kinect っていう、Xbox の、ね、新しいデバイスっていうことで、これを、体を動かしながら、ね、動かすっていうところから始まってるんですけど、それを、コックピット今回はないんですけど、そのコックピット自体が画面の奥に広がっているので、その画面の奥でいろいろ操作をしていただければいいかなと思っています。よりそのコックピットがあってもできるんですけど、今回はその画面で広がる大きなコックピットで一体感を持ってやっていただければより面白くなるんじゃないかというところ。
Some of you might know, but back in 2003 we released the original Steel Battalion. So now we're back with Steel Battalion Heavy Armor. We're going to be using Microsoft Xbox 360's new Kinect function as a main controller. We're obviously using the normal classic controller as well, so we're actually using both controllers, Kinect and the conventional controller, and you need both of them to play this game. But when in the original Steel Battalion, I think Capcom and all the consumers, all the fans were fixated into the actual controller. That was the game. Everyone was talking about the controller, and it was all about how to use the controller in full. So in Steel Battalion Heavy Armor, we are kind of not confined in the controller itself. We want to go out further. So obviously there will be some Kinect moves where you start the engine by pulling the lever, you reach out to a gear in the screen with your arm, pull the gear and you change the gear. You push the eject button, then you pull the panel on the side, open the eject button, and then press it. All these are done by Kinect moves. But by using Kinect, we're not limiting ourselves to the controller itself. So by tilting your head, your view, your camera tilts. If you stand up, you open the hatch and you look outside the VT, the vertical tank. So really, we have so much more things we can do with Kinect, as well as having a very intuitive control using Kinect.
So I don't know how much you can actually talk about it, but are there is there like a favorite exciting like Kinect control in the game that you implemented that you can talk about? I don't know if there's something really cool. You mentioned a few like standing up or pulling the lever, but is there something sort of this just fits and this made it work? Is there something like that maybe you can talk about? I don't know if you can.
今のゲーム、ムービーの中に出てきた、
今公開できるかな。
そうですね、今そのムービーの中で出てきてた、横に座ってた乗組クルーが逃げ出してるシーンあったと思うんですけども、あれは本当にゲーム中でも起こるシーンで、彼を手を使って引き戻すと、こうやって引き戻した後、引き戻すんですけど、引き戻した後、彼はやはり逃げ出したということですごく錯乱してる。その彼を落ち着かせるために殴りつけて落ち着かせるというような、そういうキネクトの動きっていう、そういうアクションっていうのも入ってます。
So, if you've seen the trailer, then you know, and if you haven't, then go somewhere, Capcom Community or somewhere and see the trailer. There's a scene where one of the soldiers basically panics and tries to escape out of the hatch. So using Kinect, you can basically reach out to this guy who is about to escape from the hatch, and you grab onto him and you pull him down. So in the Kinect, you're grabbing onto him and you're moving your arm to pull him down, and then he'll come down, and then this guy is still panicking, and you've got to kind of wake him up really to reality. So what you do, you use Kinect and you punch his face, and you can punch him to calm him down. So that's a pretty cool move set, and that's just one of the moves that will be implemented in Steel Battalion Heavy Armor.
Physically knock some sense into him. That's pretty cool. So, is there anything else that you can talk about? I mean, I saw. It looked like there's quite a massive battle going on. So, I mean, is the feeling of like a massive battle always there around you? I mean, you had mentioned going outside of these mechs a little bit, but is that something that you're going to be able to do on cue, like actually get out and walk around on foot? Or are you going to be inside, like blowing stuff up? You know.
例えば敵機の外に出れるっていうのをちょっと聞いたんですけど、顔が出せるっていうことなんですけども、敵機の外で何か活動ができるんでしょうか。それとも出ることによって何か起きることがあるんでしょうか。
その例えば、いろいろなそのミッションがあるので、すぐさまね、ここでお答えすることがなかなかできないんですけど、まあ今、そうですね、上に、ハッチからちょっと上半身に乗り出せることがあるんですけど、その時に気を抜いちゃうと、もしかしたら弾が当たっちゃって死んじゃう可能性もあるかもしれません。
So, I mean, we haven't revealed many missions yet, so no comment to what you can do outside vertical tank, but what I can tell you actually, just to enhance the point on realistic warfare. So say for instance, you've just landed in New York shores and lots of things are going on, but because you only have a small window, you kind of can't see what's going on around you, as it is for normal tanks. You know, you don't really get to see much. So you might actually want to open the hatch and just look around what's going on. You know, that's one of the best ways of finding out your current situation. But in Steel Battalion Heavy Armor, you can do that, but you can also get headshot. So there are shrapnels, bullets going off in the battlefield. So, you know, you stick your head out, you could just die straight away. You might not, you know, that's the point. But you have to risk it. You know, when you're being protected from thick armor, there is a reason for that. And, you know, if you stick your fragile head out to the battlefield, you might see some sort of consequences. But that's up to you, the player.
Sounds really awesome. So I probably won't be sticking my head out too often. So anyway, there's a question from one of the fans on our chat, actually. I'm not sure how much you can talk about it, but I'll ask anyway. They're asking, will this game have online at all?
オンラインに関しては、そうですね、こうやって聞いていただいているようなことなんで、今に期待していると思うんで、考えていきたいと思ってます。
I mean, online mode obviously would have been your prime concerns. I can't really say much yet, but we won't disappoint you is probably the best answer we can say now.
That sounds good. I won't ask you any more questions that you probably can't answer. So instead, is there anything else that you guys want to, add or talk about that maybe we can highlight about this game, get people anticipating when we might show something next? So, is there anything you want to add? I mean, I won't ask you any questions that I know you can't answer because it seems really early. So, is there anything you can tell us that maybe we haven't talked about?
まだちょっと発表してないようなことで、ちょっとここで言っちゃおうかななんてことを。
おー、それはすごいですね。何しましょうか。じゃあここだけのその秘密っていうのは
何でしょうね。
何でしょうね。
ここだけの、そうですね。何かあったっけ？
ちょっとね、言葉がなかなかうまく作れないからいけないんですけど、昔の鉄器だとそのね、コントローラー、ボタンをねいっぱい動かすっていうことが楽しかったんですけど、当然その要素はね、この画面の中に広がるコックピットでいろいろ同じようなことを行うんですけど、それプラスアルファなんていうんですかね、自分のやったことが何かしら何か反応が返ってくるようなことがいっぱいあります。
So I'm not sure if this will satisfy you, but one of the main points about the original Steel Battalion was the fun in playing with the control panel. Millions of buttons, you press them and you see what happens. So all of that is actually in this game. So all the buttons are in the screen, and you reach out to these buttons and panels and apparatus, and you switch them on and off, and that's how you have fun. But in Steel Battalion Heavy Armor. in heavy sorry, just got invaded by a certain Blanca. Anyway, so yeah, certain Blanca and a certain Ono. Anyway, so basically the environment in Steel Battalion Heavy Armor is very how can I describe it? It's very interactive, I think is the best word for it. So you do things to your crew, you do things to the environment, and there are always responses to what you've just done. So, you know, say for instance, after the mission, you know, you turn around to your gunner, and then he's like, "Well done, dude," and then you reach out your arm, and then, you know, he'll shake your hand. So that's just another example, but there are many features and things you could do in the world of Steel Battalion Heavy Armor to influence what happens afterwards, and all these choices are yours. So going back to the dragging down your comrade thing, you don't actually have to drag him down. So you can just let him go, and you know he's probably going to die anyway, because, you know, leaving the tank is next to death basically. But, you know, you can leave him to die, and then what happens in the game? You lose a gunner. And what does that mean? If you lose a gunner, he stops reloading the gun. Does the game stop there? No. You have to do it using Kinect. So, you know, if you've lost your gunner, you have to turn around and then load the gun yourself using Kinect, and that's the consequence. You know, so that's what happens in games. So everything you do has a meaning. So, you know, in that way, it's going to be brilliant.
So, I do have one more question I have to ask. What's with the outfits?
これは鉄器の組員の服装。
So this costume actually is the uniform of the pilot.
操作するんですよ。
So
Control.
his name is Winfield Powers. So it says W Powers here.
主人
Yeah,
公。
and he belongs to the U.S. Army.
Very cool. So you had that outfit made just for this?
これもしかしてわざわざ作ってきたんですか？
作ってきました。
このために
just for this. Just for you, Snow. Yeah.
Well, all right. I mean, when can we expect to hear more about this game?
これもうちょっと続報いつ聞かせてもらえるんですか？続報はいつ聞かせてもらえるんですか？
そうですね。そんなに遠くないうちには次の情報を出したいと思ってるんで期待してもらってたら。
I mean, we're going to be telling you, you know, we're going to be updating you on news about Steel Battalion Heavy Armor before you forget about this session. So not too long to go, hopefully.
で僕たちも本当はねここに何かを持ってきて実際ね動かしてるものを本当はお見せしたかったんだけど今ちょっと準備不足だったんで早めに、その動くものをね実際見てもらって本当に動いてんだっていうのを実感してもらいたいなと思ってます。
And I also wanted to assure you, you know, just so that you know we're working hard and something's already there to see. But, you know, unfortunately we can't quite show you the gameplay just yet. But soon, hopefully, we will be able to show you something. So look out for us.
Sounds really good. Thank you so much for swinging by and talking to us about the game. The trailer looks great.
ありがとうございます。
ありがとうございます。
Thank you very much.
Thank you very
Bye-bye.
much.